Have you ever wondered, so who are INFJs compatible with? Surely opposites attract, right? We can all agree that opposites attract. Whilst a kindred spirit can be a wonderful thing, there is something exciting and fascinating about someone whose personality contrasts our own in intriguing ways. Your Myers-Briggs personality type can help you to find someone who may be a good match, but it can also shed light on any imbalances you may be experiencing in your long-term relationships. The upside to all of the personality types is that they are not set in stone. They are merely preferences. We have to develop our own inferior and less dominant traits so that even if someone seems like they are your opposite, that can actually be a really good thing. So to answer the question, who is compatible with INFJs? Literally any type. However, each pairing is going to have some pros and some cons and its own unique struggles. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to INFJ, the joys and the struggles. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamiso Miranda, and this channel is all things INFJ, personal growth and lifestyle design. Stay tuned for some tips, tricks, hacks and tools on overcoming adversity to fulfill your potential and become the best you. And if you'd like to learn how you could use life's adversities to your advantage, do consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon next to it. Let's dive in. First up, I like to look into perfect matches, which are the joys. The first one that I have for you today is INFJ and ENFPs. This relationship would be a very creative relationship. We have the ENFP bringing the options, alternatives, and breadth of ideas into this exciting relationship, whilst on the other hand, the INFJ brings deep insight into one or two of the ideas. There's usually a quick spark between these two. Whilst they're both very similar in some ways, they use each other's strengths in totally different ways. For both the INFJ and the ENFP, they use their intuitive dominant types, whilst the ENFP will generally contribute more ideas. The INFJ will then take the idea and find a way to narrow it down into something a lot more streamlined and specific. The ENFP will focus on aligning with their core values, whilst the INFJ on the other hand would be like a social chameleon wearing their hearts on their sleeves whilst focusing on the moods and feelings of others. The ENFP can broaden the INFJ's perspective on life, whilst the INFJ helps the ENFP to dig deeper and to narrow down their focus. These two can go on lots of adventures, both physically and mentally, each one sparking more vivid insights in the other. However, there might be some misunderstandings and conflicts along the line because they actually share none of the same cognitive functions. But because of that, the flip side is that they can help each other to grow in very powerful ways. The next joyful perfect match I have for INFJ compatibility is INFJs and ENTPs. This, according to the INFJ compatibility charts, is a powerhouse relationship with chemistry running high. This is because the INFJ and ENTP share the same decision-making functions, which is introverted thinking and extroverted feeling. And because of this, they both value precise logic and open, transparent communication. The ENFP will completely tantalize INFJs with their never-ending lists of ideas and experiences, whilst on the other hand, the INFJ will draw the ENTP with their warmth and imagination. Research suggests that this is in fact one of the most ideal match for both of these personality types. If you'd like to find out what your personality type is so that you can find a more suitable INFJ match, I have a free download in the description below. Go ahead and check it out. Now let's dive into the struggles and challenging opposites. People of the following personality types present the most potential for personality clash and conflict, but they also present the best opportunities for growth. The first challenging opposite that I have for you today is INFJs and ESTPs. At first glance, the ESTP and INFJ would seem like a terrible match as per the INFJ compatibility chart. But hold on, wait a minute. Before you cross them out, hold up. When you look deep into it, when you research into it, they share the same cognitive functions, but just it's in the reverse order. This means that even though they have different lifestyle preferences, they will understand each other innately in many other life situations. The ESTP will energize and motivate the INFJ, whilst the INFJ will help the ESTP to slow down and to look at the bigger picture. Both of these types create balance for each other, but only if they are willing to learn and to work and appreciate each other's differences without getting put off and irritated by them in the first place. However, I would like to issue a warning for this pair. This pair has to be on the lookout for condescension. And this is because both personality types are strong in areas where the other one is weak. And naturally, it will appear as if the other person is constantly looking for trouble, looking for problems, looking for issues that might not necessarily need to be issues, when in actual fact, the other person is just doing things according to their personality type. Because people of these personality types, they have fundamentally different values and motivations. Initially, it would seem impossible to relate, but because they're so different, the INFJ's strengths are the ESTP's weakness, and if they are able to form a relationship, they can absolutely learn a tremendous amounts from each other. I bring you INFJs and ESFPs. I hear you. You're thinking, what? Is she crazy? No, sis. No, honey, I am not crazy. Just hear me out. Give me 1 second and hear me out, okay? This relationship is not for the faint-hearted. Let me be the first one to admit that to you. It is not for the faint-hearted. Let me say it again for the people in the back.
This relationship is not for the faint-hearted.
Each of these individuals will challenge the other person in ways that can become overwhelming and even scary at times, but that can be a really good thing. Ask me how. I can hear you asking me how. How, sis? How do y'all want to make that happen? I'm gonna tell you in just a second how you could make that happen. INFJs challenge ESFPs to slow down and look ahead, whilst the ESFP challenges the INFJ to trust their impulses and take more action. The INFJ brings warmth and imagination to the relationship, whilst the ESFP brings excitement and practicality. This combination together, they can actually do pretty much anything, but they will be prone to have challenges and arguments and conflicts down the line. This is because it can be easy for each of them to feel triggered by the other person. Once again, this is because one is strong in an area where the other one is weak. In this relationship, you have to be very careful to not become condescending and overly critical with each other, because INFJs tend to see sensing as less important as intuition, whilst the ESFP sees that the other way around. They see that intuition is less important than sensing. So because of this, that can create conflict in itself to ultimately make this relationship work and thrive and be a success. The two will have to have a deep understanding of personality types in order for them to keep track and be aware of their actions, their thoughts, and how and why they're doing certain things and how that's going to affect their mate. And they have to come to a place where they can bridge the gap, get to a place of understanding each other, and in doing so, that process will bring them closer together. At the end of the day, I would just like to add that for a relationship to be a success, as I mentioned earlier on, it requires two people who genuinely want to be together and want to make it work. These two people have to appreciate the other person's strengths and find ways in which they can support the other person's weaknesses. And the two have to be willing to compromise and to make sacrifices in order for that relationship to work. I do not believe that a relationship can just 100% work and is going to be perfect based on personality type, because there's a lot more that goes into a relationship besides your personality type. And in reality, there is nothing that is perfect. Everything has its ups, it has its downs. There are going to be issues in any relationship. Even if you find the two perfect compatible personality types, that does not mean that that relationship is going to be conflict free. The conflict may be reduced, but it's still going to be there. There's no match that you're going to find where it's going to be 100% perfect 100% all the time. So my question for you today is that what do you make of my INFJ compatibility matches? Let me know down in the comments below. I am curious because I know some of these, not everybody's going to agree with them, and I'd really like to know what you thought about it. Now go and watch this playlist next for more on INFJ, and I will see you in my next one as we continue our journey towards a more wholesome, healthier, and more meaningful lifestyle.